Hello aspirants, looking at editorials for 10th December 2016, Saturday. In Saturday's newspaper, there is no article worth a question, so there is no question bank for today. The first editorial in the Hindu newspaper is South Korea at Crossroads. So this we have already discussed in the news section about the president of South Korea against whom charges have been put forth and the parliament has impeached her. But then the impeachment procedure will not be completed unless and until the constitutional court finalizes this. So once it is upheld by the constitutional court, only then impeachment would be finalized. Presently, she has been suspended. So this is her own party members voted against her in favor of the impeachment resolution. So this highlights the extent of the crisis. So it was her confidant, Cho Soon-sil, who had extorted money from companies for her own foundations. So these stories about her access to president's office and her closeness and influence in decision making had agitated the public. They had come out on the streets protesting against the president, and she was not able to handle it effectively. So finally she has been impeached by the parliament, though the impeachment procedure is not complete yet. Also, other points put forth in this editorial is that in South Korean economy is also not going well. It is having a growth rate falling down to now 2.6% in 2015, which is slowest since 2012. So she has not been able to handle the economy effectively too. Plus also her decision to have the THAAD, that is the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense. So this THAAD intercepting missile. So this is a missile defense system which is of USA, which USA plans to put in South Korea. So her approval for this also. So she had decided to reach an agreement with USA on this matter too, to allow this advanced missile defense system to be present on South Korean soil to counter North Korea. So North Korea is a rogue state which has developed its own nuclear weapons too and targets USA and is an enemy of South Korea as well. So to ensure that no such attacks take place, this defensive mechanism was proposed, but China clearly protests against this. It says that this is targeted at us, not at North Korea. So China does not like this. So relations with China have also been very, on a rough weather. So all these aspects have also gone against her. So now we'll have to wait and watch how does the impeachment process go ahead and what would happen. Also about this terminal high altitude area defense, we have done this earlier too. We have seen this when it was referred earlier in an editorial. So this is actually using thermal energy to destroy the incoming missile. So this incoming missile interception, when this kinetic energy is used, it helps in ensuring that if it's a nuclear missile or if it is a chemical material carrying missile, then it would not detonate and would not affect the region. So these are the benefits of this interceptor missile too. Then the next editorial in the Hindu newspaper is Cash Need Not Be King. So recently we have discussed in news that government has given various incentives for non-cash payments, for card payments and online transactions. So all these are fine, would do well. So but in India, the cash is the basis of around 95% of all transactions. So sudden shift may be difficult. Also, cash creates a window to escape from tax net. So generally we see that payments are done through cash. When a shopkeeper makes a bill to, he would ask the person that whether they want a bill or not. So if they want a bill, then tax would be included and it would result in the customer paying a little higher amount. But then when there is a bill made, then it also gives the customer the right to have substandard goods replaced later and getting the guarantee for that too. But without a bill, then that becomes difficult. So it affects even customer rights. So both to ensure consumer rights and bring more revenue to the government, it is required that we move towards cashless payment, which would make billing effective too. So this is one aspect of encouraging or appreciating cashless transactions. But then the fact is that a huge amount of population is in rural areas where too government has taken actions. So there is this Kisan credit cards which are given to farmers. So this is a scheme which came forth in 1998-99. budget when Yashwant Sinha was the finance minister. So this Kisan credit cards to farmers provide them advance facility available. So the credit need not be approved by the bank and then only credit made available. They already have a credit card which has a threshold limit up to which they can take credit, and they can take this credit before the sowing season, and in case of losses, crop failures too, there are assurances given. So this helps in them getting easy credit, plus also the interest rates which farmers pay is quite low. Also, if they are making timely payments of these credits which they have taken, they get further interest reduction, that is called interest subvention. So these all are the benefits of Kisan credit card, which has been doing well. But now around 15 years later, the government has also said that RuPay cards will also be introduced. So these RuPay cards is because they want to lower the payments which are done. Presently, the payment transaction is done because these are payment gateways. So Visa, MasterCard, these are payment, they're not called gateways. The exact term for them is payment firms. So these are foreign payment firms. So these are through which, because you are making a transaction from a particular bank to another bank, so this transaction has to be processed. So these are payment firms which do this. So presently the two major international firms are Visa and MasterCard, but Indian government, RBI, wanted India to have its own payment firm, and this was done, and this is the RuPay which has come forth. So this RuPay is Indian candidate, Indian nominee for which tries to replace Visa and MasterCard. So this is one candidate added. Also, in some countries it is not allowed. Foreign payment firms are not allowed only, like in China. Then in Brazil, Singapore too, they have their own local payment companies as well. So in India too, we have taken this initiative. So RuPay cards are also available as a payment system. So because presently we are making payments to Visa and MasterCard, so they are a monopoly together. What they decide, that has to be paid. So with RuPay coming into the picture, these payments can also be reduced. Then another point highlighted is the merchant discount rate. So when you do transactions by card, there is a merchant discount rate which has to be paid. So this also has to be rationalized. Rather than taking a discount, rather than taking an extra amount, a discount needs to be given, like what government has announced presently. So this is also one aspect highlighted. And finally, then other aspects are about the ATMs, automated teller machines. So these ATMs are actually to vend out cash. So because people are using cash, ATMs are available. But if the economy moves towards cashless, then these ATMs requirement will also reduce, and this is around 18,000 crore, which is spent on maintaining ATMs. So this amount will also be reduced. So it will help in transaction cost reducing because of digital economy. So these are the points. Looking at this merchant discount rate. So this is about when you use a card. So this is a card holder. The issuing bank posts the transaction, which transaction is making with the merchant. So this starts with here. Sorry. The merchant sends the batch of approved transactions to the acquirer. So this is the bank from which this transaction is required. The acquirer forwards the batch to the credit card network for settlement. Then from the credit card network, it goes to the each approved transaction goes to the appropriate issuing bank. So this is the merchant's bank, this is the issuing bank of the card holder. Then from this issuing bank, the transfer of funds takes place to the acquirer. So this is a fee is charged here, that is the interchange fee. So this issuing bank will get an interchange fee on this. Then this credit card network also pays the acquirer its percentage of the remaining funds. Then whatever deduction interchange fee is done by the issuing bank, that excluded, then remaining is given to the acquirer. Here also he takes the payment. Plus then the acquirer credits the merchant with this merchant discount rate. So merchant discount rate is deducted here. So these all deductions which take place because of these entities involved results in the commodity becoming a little costlier for the card holder because he is using cards. So this is disincentivizing digital economy. So this is one aspect which needs to be taken care of when we are moving towards the digital economy. Then the next editorial, again this is the Indian Express editorial, is again on going digital. So it's talking about the same thing, that the government is pushing towards incentivizing digital economy, which is good, but then electronic infrastructure space in India is underdeveloped. Smartphones which are required, or these facilities, banks which are required, are not available everywhere. So it's difficult for people to move towards a digital economy. But then other aspect highlighted is that the government is now changing the entire narrative that demonetization is to fight black money and corruption. But then another aspect is that it will also help us move towards less cash economy. So now the entire justification for demonetization is twisted. So it was not the actual justification for demonetization, plus the infrastructure, e-infrastructure is not in place as well. So how can this be pushed for? Even internet penetration in India is very low. It is as low as 30%. Smartphone penetration in India is 17%. So this shows how much of the rural population is outside this, still outside this. So these are the points highlighted. Even in rural India, it says the point of sale terminals, the POS terminals on which you swipe your card when you go for shopping. So these are also not available. And even if they are available, then they give discount, an extra charge if you are using card transaction and a discount if you are not. So because then there are no cuttings done, there are no cuts, various interchange rates, fees and merchant discount rate, all those deductions are not done. So it's better when cash is provided. So all these aspects are also there. Then how will the government go ahead? There are many times when internet blackouts are also done, which the government itself does for various reasons, for unrest or communal violence, or if examinations are going on. Then if internet itself is not available, then how to move towards a cashless economy? So it again talks about the discount rate charged by the merchant in accepting credit payments. So this but it has to be paid to the consumers. So all this requires that the government has to take this into consideration and make it incentivizes rather than disincentivize it, to make sure that transition towards digital economy, towards cashless economy is smoother. So there is a huge amount of infrastructure required to be in place before we can turn into a cashless economy. And the next editorial in the Indian Express newspaper is on a Jaipur local group which attacked an artwork because the painting was of a semi-nude woman and it was called obscene. So the editorial is arguing that art in some way, some form is going to provoke, annoy some population. But then this vigilant group on high moral outrage cannot use aggression, cannot use violence, because here comes the role of the government. Government cannot be a mute spectator, but the muscle power should not trump, and government has to take action against them. So that is it for Saturday, 10th November. Thank you so much.